What's up, creepers and geekers? Christy, Atari Creep. How's everyone doing today? Continuing on with Creep-Tober. Of course, we're going to do a commentary track on a creepy movie. And today we're going to do one of my favorites of all time. Something Wicked This Way Comes, a Ray Bradbury story. Do you remember the Ray Bradbury Theater on HBO? I absolutely loved that series. But I think it was all because of, there we go, this movie right here. I would never have heard of Ray Bradbury if it wasn't for this movie. And I don't speak to a lot of people who even remember it. I know it has a fan base. I know it does, but I don't know. There's just something about it. It's one of the very few movies that actually feel like fall. And I don't know if it's just the setting, the way they did the leaves and everything, or, just the carnival coming to town. Whatever it is, this movie is one of those true examples of something that looks like fall. And when I'm at the gates and I'm asked, what are some of the things you're going to miss from down there, kid? Fred Gwynn's laugh as Herman Munster in this movie comes to mind right away. I feel fortunate enough that I lived in a time period where I got to experience both. So here we go. We're gonna hit play. I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, go. And as soon as I hit go, I'm gonna hit play. I'm at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 all the way across the board. All right. So we got 3, 2, 1, go. And I'll comment here. Get the Buena Vista distribution. Walt Disney Productions presents, and that's another thing. This is a Disney movie. It's a friggin' Disney movie, and it's not on Disney Plus. And I was kind of upset about it. I TikToked about it. I was like, how come that one's not on there? And people were like, well, maybe it's got something to do with the Ray Bradbury estate, Come on, just this alone, this music is creepy. This music's not fucking around at all. The image of this choo-choo coming at you, Jason Robards, he was in a whole lot of really good things. There was this one, it was with him and the cat that played Ferris Bueller. I can never remember his name. He also played Inspector Gadget. War Games, that kid. He was in a movie with Jason Robards. It's something like, I don't know, Max Dugan Returns or something weird like that. I can't remember the exact, I'm going to look it up right now. I think it was called Max Dugan Returns. Yeah, oh my God, how the fuck did I remember that? Wow. What another memory. I'm pretty sure that's, yeah. Oh, it's got, what a great movie that was. I can't remember a lot of it. I just remember he showed up one day and all of a sudden the house had all kinds of riches. And it turned out that he was a scam artist. I don't know. So here we go. I would love to have seen this in theaters. I bet you that was jarring right there. Look at that. That looks like El Pond. Or it looks like any pond in my town. My whole town is nothing but ponds. In fact, we were called Pondfield at one time. But up at Mount Hood, there's one pond that this reminds me of. I mean, they all kind of look the same. First of all, it's October. It's a rare month for boys. Oh, I never noticed the dude out in the boat. This is probably the biggest screen I've ever seen this movie on. In fact, I think the last time I saw this, it was on a tube TV. And then the music swells again. Oh my God. And the peddler comes to town. It's got all your tropes in it, man. It's like, hey, thanks for the ride, lady. Greentown, Illinois. That describes fall perfectly. It's cheesy as fuck, I will admit that. So I'm not going to say much about the movie as far as what's happening if you've never seen it. Kind of hope you're watching it before you watch this with me, but it's your typical needful things kind of a situation. You know, people have wishes and desires, and the devil essentially is in town to give everybody what they want, but it all comes with a price. And she always creeped me out. I think it was the glasses. Sure, in her day, she was a fine looking woman, but. Jim Nightshade. Tell me that's not one of the greatest names ever. Jim Nightshade. I don't know what creeps me out more, that fucking drawing or her actual face. And again, it's the glasses. It's got something to do with the glasses. Maybe it's got to do with like the mouth area underneath the nose and. Whispering. Whispering. It's like having whipped cream. Whispering. Man, this captures it perfectly. I mean, I didn't live in this time period, but. Yeah, old delivery sedan thing there. A truck. This guy, and I always forget his name, but he's in a lot of things in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. A lot of westerns. But he's one of those great character actors that they're just in everything. And for some reason, at least I don't know his name. But a lot of people don't. They just, oh yeah, that guy, you know? It's kind of a shame. He was such a. I'm sure he's passed on, but. We got Mr. Robots here. This guy was definitely a guy of his time. And you know what? There was a lot about this movie that I identified with as far as, like, I mean, this guy, he's a librarian and his father was a minister. My dad was a minister. My dad had heart problems from a young age. You would never know it. I mean, he looked healthy as a you know, whatever. But him and I, come to find out, our bodies produce way too much triglycerides. And that's what actually goos up the heart. So from a young age, I've been on, you know, cholesterol medication. But, you know, they didn't know. And by the time he was in his 40s, he had clogged arteries and shit. So, you know, I mean, I guess I could just identify with this. These kids, you know, one of them's an outcast, I suppose, in a way. Maybe they both are. You never see any other kids in town, actually. Except for that one spooky one later on, but. I don't know. There was just an isolation to this movie that I identified with. And my dad was very gentle like this, like robots here. You know, and knowledgeable what he had to talk about. And maybe that's it. Maybe it just reminds me of my dad more than anything. I don't know. Speaking of which, you see that QR code over there? Scan it. Go see what it's asking you to do. And I suggest you would do it. I suggest you do it. Or else I'll bring my carnival to your town and grant everybody's wishes. And I'll steal one of each of their socks. Ooh, the horror! Look at that. Can you imagine that being your, I wonder if this had to have been a set. But I wonder if there's somewhere in the country or even I'm sure in the world somewhere that's what your neighborhood looks like. Murmury Timbers. I love that newsy hat. Presents his compliments. All right, dude. All right, back up. Back up. Yeah, later. I had a buddy named Gerald. Him and I were like these two. I often tell stories about, going up to the Canby Lake Park on our bikes, riding up Route 93. A 45-minute drive. It took us 3 hours. And he's the one who has all the game systems in the basement. When I was growing up, 2 Ataris, a Coleco, an Atom system, a Master System. No, he had 3 Ataris, come to think of it. He had a Vader, a 6-switch Wood. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's all he had. I could have sworn he had a 4-switch Woody, but maybe it was a Vader. Man, do you remember being that young? The magic every day. It didn't matter, I had it pretty tough growing up as far as whatever. But there was just this wonderment and magic to being young. Look, nothing exists to this kid right now but that piece of metal. And he's probably happier now than he's ever been in his entire life so far. God, I wish I could feel that again. This guy. Well, you should, sir. There'll be a whole $1. A whole $1 per cigar. This guy always seems sleazy to me. Maybe because he has a sexual element to his desires and needs. But even before then, there's this creep factor to him. Like I get H.H. Holmes vibes from him. Am I wrong? Do you even know who H.H. Holmes is? Consider yourself fortunate if you don't. You know what you need? A high colonic. Yeah, me too. Look at that ball. Just 1 drink and 1 cigar, and only eat 4 steaks, 8 slices of pizza, and 2 pounds of French fries. Double dipped in the fryer. Don't forget your heart there, kid. Always was. Simpler times, man. I fucking hate that we walk around with one of these stupid things in our pockets because it has turned us into a bunch of fucking idiots. Honestly, I think cell phones have de-evolved us to a point where it's like, you would think with all this information we'd be a smarter race of people, but it's done two things: made us stupider and a lot more entitled. Me included, in a lot of ways. Wow, look at that set. I want to live there. The problem is it wouldn't look like that now. You know, there'd fucking be cars everywhere and tagging all over the center of that. Remember, this was made by Disney, or at least it's a Disney flick. Keep saying that to yourself while watching this. This is one of those early ones where they didn't care. Not just Disney, anybody. PG movies had like nudity in them and a lot of swearing, and this is creepy. Can you imagine a little kid? Man, it creeped me out a little bit. I've yet to find any movie that truly scared me. Only three I can think of. And one of them's not even a movie. This is funny. It's a little old for that, Dad. What the fuck? Dad, why'd you have me so old? You know what? It's just staying the same. Yes, it was because I saw the reflection in the glasses, but this film was made well. It was made really well. You know, one of the things my father, on top of having the heart issue, he was really into sports, and I wasn't as a kid. I really wasn't. The only times I really got into it was when he would get tickets. He got season tickets to all the local events, you know, Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox, and the New England Patriots through work. I mean, he was VP in sales for a trucking company, on top of course, being a full time minister. So it took up a ton of his time. So anytime I could get with the guy, I took it, you know. So we would go to these sporting events, and that would be fun. But like the whole tossing the ball in the yard kind of a thing never really happened. It just, I don't know. The few times it did, it just felt awkward and weird because it almost seemed forced. And I guess you could say it was like the little kid trying to adapt more to the adult than the adult adapting to the child. And I'm not saying either way is right or wrong. I think it should go both ways. You know, you introduce your kids to some of the stuff, and vice versa. You know, let them explore things and introduce you into their little worlds because you're obviously going to be out of touch. Sure, you might be the one who had to fucking go to 18 stores to find it that Christmas, but yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of themes in here that I grew up identifying with that I'm actually realizing more now than ever before. Remember, by Disney, for kids. I'm going to say that a lot. That always weirded me out. If you rewind and pause after this to that scene, it's like you're looking at her forehead going, and her nose is away from you, but the eyes open in reverse as if they're flipped. Like, you're looking this way. I don't know if you can see me in that little window. And the camera's facing right here. And it's like the eyes open. It almost seems like they flip the eyes. And if I'm just overthinking it, fine. I mean, whatever, but that was creepy. This music encapsulates this perfectly. You know, it may not be the most riveting story ever. It certainly isn't original. But this is a very well made movie. And everybody who worked on it did a fantastic job. The cinematography, the sets design, you know, the story itself. Like, the lighting here is perfect. The music just fucking grabs on to whatever the scene is trying to portray. I mean, that's creepy right there. I mean, it wouldn't be now, but... Dark's Pandemonium Carnival. Little touches like this. Oh, man, that's obnoxious. And they just keep going with the idea. Like, what does that even fucking mean right there? Is it because he's evil? His evilness makes religious statues bleed light? I don't know. Can you imagine mourning a fucking loved one and a fucking 2 hour long train comes by? Have you ever been stuck at a railroad crossing like that? Where the train takes about 25, 35 half hour to you know, craziness. Again, the music, perfect. You know, we were stupid enough to do this. People were like, "Oh, why would you?" Me and my buddy, if we stumbled upon this, are you kidding me? We would get into everything we could. We wouldn't break anything or steal. We just went and came and went as we pleased. It was like the world belonged to us. The world is mine. Look at it. This chick is gorgeous. Just the right amount of exotic. I mean that no disrespect. I'm white, okay? Anything a tad darker than me is technically exotic. I'm Irish, okay? Heck, my lady's Italian. That's exotic to me. Oh, spider. Have you ever held a tarantula? They're a pretty big spider, and you'd think there'd be a little bit of weight to them. It's like nothing. I had a girlfriend that had one. Its name was Hairy Vagina with a B. Hairy Vagina. I don't know. She was a weirdo. Actually, she was really good people. She was really good people. We almost got married, but meh, not really into that. Been there, done that. Once was enough. A little piano. Bill Murray's around the corner. They hate that. This is one of my favorite time periods, like the 30s, 40s, whenever this is supposed to be. I'm going to guess 30s. Look how warm and brown everything is. That's what I think of when I think of Christmas, you know? Classic vintage Christmas. Lots of rich mahogany. A fireplace. Really heavy curtains. No TVs. Not at least until video games. But if I lived alone, I wouldn't fucking get cable. I don't watch TV. I don't care about TV. It's garbage entertainment. Brain junk food. Ooh, my ear is itchy. Look at this. The witching hour. Souls Midnight. I forgot about that. I'm writing that down. Souls Midnight. Oh, where's my writing implement? I think these scenes between these two are wicked important. It's like exposition without it being exposition. It's very organic and it flows, you know? It's got an awkwardness to it. You know, you almost feel secondhand embarrassment for the situation, not for either one of the characters, but... You know? Symbolisms. Avoidance. So there was a carnival that would come to town during April vacation. The third week of April we had off from school. Same with the third week of February. And we had this thing called the Fireman's Carnival that would come across the street from the high school at this area called the Knoll on Elk Pond. They ended up moving it from there eventually, and then now they just don't do it at all. But it benefited the local fire department, and it was a good time. Me and my buddy would actually camp out on the actual knoll, which would be in the center of all that madness, and watch them build it over the course of a couple days, you know? And, you know, then of course Monday morning we wake up and go enjoy the carnival, whatever. And then we would spend pretty much the whole week there. See, this part I never understood, and I'm able to suspend disbelief, but the carnival worker, nobody notices it's the same guy on every friggin' thing? Not one person is suspicious about that? Except for that one guy. Oh my God. But later on at the Ferris wheel, it's another dude. Maybe it's the same guy, and he just keeps showing up wherever the desires are. I don't know. God damn, is that universal right there? Not us wishing we had limbs, but we all got a couple of things like this, you know? By whisperers. That purse looks like it's crocheted or knitted. Probably is. My nephew is coming. That's fucked up. God, this woman is beautiful. Oh, yeah. It's a miracle, dude. You look like a pervert. Anyone could tell that you're just looking for some coos. Oh, that would stop tickling me. You're going to be sweating. It's October. Remember, it's October. Yeah. See? So maybe that's exactly what it is. Watched this movie a million times, still learning from it. Havana. And that one phrase right there stuck with us. Every time kids from my time, or I should say my area, thought of a cigar, that's what they thought of. The plump thighs. Well, back when you were allowed to say nice things to people. Number 2, poop. He's like, yeah, I do. Peekaboo. You know what? I understand this was this guy's desire and everything, but something about this scene just seemed a little out of place. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. But are people really that pervy? Or just the idea of a woman? I don't Then again, this lady's everywhere too, so. Alright, I know you're all freaking out. I know they're all ghosts. I know they're all ghosts. Ooh, you're gonna catch the Rona. Imagine a time where something like this is exciting. I think you're creepy. Excuse me. Excuse me. Holy hell. Let me, do I have my sanitizer over here? Always go in your elbow, boys and girls. I hate the smell of this shit. And it's like that liquidy. Like it's almost gelled. Ah, dries your hands up bad. Now, this guy. Didn't he sell Cadillacs for a little while, too, on TV? Or was it like BMW or something? Something tells me it was a European car. Creepy. Little subtle hints. That's. Now you're a kid, right? And you're seeing this. Are you smiling? I'm over here going, I'm about to die, so let me shit my pants so maybe they'll just leave me. Because I stink. Notice how he never took a single one. They didn't have to leave that little part in at the end, but they did. That's fucking brilliant. I don't care what you say. They'll chuck us out. Remember Chuck? Does anyone still say that? He chucked a rock at me. It was in a snowball. Not so subtle. It's like such an open space, though. I mean, how do you really hide? I get it. I get it. They're behind equipment, but it's like it wouldn't be hard to notice somebody in there. Look at this shot. Disorientating. Little hazy. Probably use Kodak Eastman film to get that nice soft, you know. I told myself if I was ever gonna make a movie, I'd use that shit. I doubt you could even buy it. Film's expensive. They did that all practically too, I bet. Cross dissolves and shit. Mr. Cougar. I don't know, I seem to remember being able to see this a little better back in the day. Like to see where, you know, the feet don't quite reach it, yeah. I don't know. Maybe my eyes were just better back then. Tell me this kid doesn't look like he would actually be the young, the young version of Mr. Cougar. Even the casting was brilliant. God, I can't wait for Mr. Doc to start doing this thing. Because he really is the star of this show. The suspense this movie builds up. Once you get past all this here, it's pretty nail biting. Creepy. All the fake step noises. She's like, who is it? They rang the bell once. Karen. No, I'm all set. I don't want to become a fucking stew. I get a lot of Hansel and Gretel fucking vibes from this chick. Look at how this kid's introduced. Brilliance. Hi, Robert. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes. So what do you want my kid to do? Just look like you gave him an ice cream, let him lick it twice and took it away. Fuck, okay. We can get that. It's funny, you know. I know when you're older, everything seems a little smaller to you now, and things look bigger when you're a kid. But the two main characters here look about the same as I remember them. But this little dude seems a lot smaller. So I wonder why the other kids don't feel smaller or younger. I don't know. Little liar. Okay. Foreshadow. I want my house to be accessible like that. Yeah, creepy. He took pure delight in that. His father's a bit of a dick. I'm just realizing that now. He likes to scare little kids. What a jerk off. Something about that just always weirded me out, the way she rubbed his. I know it's comforting. I mean, she's like probably the most comforting. I don't know. Jim. The dude just like, you know what? I don't care about you, kid. Just get over here. Yeah. You gotta face your shit, kid. Oh no, I have a missed telephone call. I don't care who it is. I hate phone calls. Anyone who's gonna phone call me, I don't want to talk to them. I totally get masculinity, but it's like, why would it be? I don't know. Why did somebody believe not to teach their kid how to swim? I can't, in any time period, understand why that would be important, even to a minister. Hey, shit happens. It's stuff like this, if you dwell on it, that can actually ruin the relationship, not the actual event itself. You can process through it. And I understand this was supposed to be a different time period, but we're not in that time period. So avoiding it and then stewing on it is pretty detriment to relationships. Fucking face it. You'd be surprised how strong you are as opposed to the situation itself. It's what you haven't done. That's right. I wish we had just talked it out. How many times have you said that to yourself? I wish we had just been able to do this. Easier said than done. I understand. That's right. You know? You can't die. That line never made sense to me, but that's all right. Got our pumpkin. Me and one of the kids are gonna carve a pumpkin tonight. I don't want to ditch you. He's like, I'm not climbing up that thing. Jesus, I built it. I know how bad it is. Actually, he probably didn't. The kid probably did. Who said he had a fucking problem? I said he worked at the airport. Good night, darling. And here we go. What else was she in? She looks very familiar. That little spark in the eye. That was a nice touch. They could have zoomed in on it. Nope. Let it be subtle. And guys, back me up here. That outfit. Tell me that's not sexier than any stupid little fucking pencil skirt. So tight. It's classy. Form-fitting. He's like, bye. Bye. He'll kill us. You ditched me. It's important, you know? You don't fucking ditch your buddy. You old fool. What a great image. It's creepy. Tom Fury. Such a weird optical, right? Looks very Disney, doesn't it? There was this kid that ran the Circle K down the street. He went to school with my nephew. He doesn't work there anymore. He works at the local casino that we have here in Everett. Encore, whatever the fuck it's called. But he looks just like Mr. Doc, but like a slightly younger version. He's got that same thing going on. She is. When comes the storm. The storm's not coming. It's just breathing real heavy. Relax. Make you hop? That little dude there always creeped me out too. I mean, everybody's frozen. Disney movie. We are not the same generations. Older millennials and younger. Yes. Go get him. Knock him down. Why does it always bring him back? Why don't you just fucking kill him? Just eliminate the problem. But yeah, from here on out, man, this movie just gets going. I never realized how long it really took to get going. Holy shit. You know, it's funny. Some movies, again, when you're a kid, they seem like they, but then you watch them as an adult and it just kind of bangs through it. Not this one. You might almost want to say that it starts off pretty boring. Once they get the story going, I think there is a little bit too much in the middle. I think they need to get to this part a little sooner, but I'm willing to sit through the little. And if I were watching this normally, you could skip through it. I think it's worth it to get that intro and then this. Because the performances from here on out are just incredible. That looks very Disney too, doesn't it? What the fuck you want from me? What you want from me? I've already proven that I'm weak. But he knows. He knows. Technically, no. He can influence bad things to happen, yeah, but. Okay. Oh, that's right. I think they filmed a lot of this like after the movie was done, because you're gonna notice Nightshade in particular just seems a little bit older. He almost reminds me of Ralph Macchio in this. A little bit. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a little bit. But look how much older he looks now. And in some cuts of it, right, as the scene progresses, if I remember correctly, the hair even changes a little bit. Maybe it's not this scene. I don't know. Again, it's been a while since I've seen this. I praised it up so much I don't watch it all the time. I don't even know where my copy is. And it's not the most easiest movie to get a hold of, so. Now, he looks a little older here, too. I never understood why tarantulas were so scary. I mean, I guess it's creepy how they walk and everything, but. Yeah, he definitely looks noticeably older there. Ew, get off my neck. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not really that scared of spiders. But if there's one on my neck or something like that, nah. Oh, here. That's where they both look a little older. Maybe it was just in my head. Fuck off. I miss you, boo. Accurate. God, this is so creepy. Those little dudes. What's creepier is later on when they're playing the funeral procession. Look at that phone. Hang it up, kid. Would it have really killed you to do that? So I never understood that there was like a little bit of symbolism here. You could definitely tell who the victims are. But is it to show that the town's ignorant of it because they just want to be? I mean, all these people have been part of the town for so long, and it's like, would they really just up and disappear? And then there's a parade. I mean, well, her you can't really tell, but the lightning rod guy, and I mean, you could tell definitely who's who. So I wonder if it's got something to do with like the town just being ignorant to it on purpose. Always something that's been on my mind about this movie. Come here, lady. I love a parade. I get it, they're disguised, but they don't look that different. Right? Get the fuck out of here, dog. This is great stuff right here. I'm going to be quiet. Yeah, we haven't seen any. That was polite for fuck no. that's brilliant. Blumquist. Blumquist. McGlong. Only in Boston is a kid named McGlong. This is awesome. The librarian. Disney movie. That was a nice burn. Burn! Perfect outro. Encompasses the creepy circus carnival vibe. 100% perfect. The music, the glaze. I guess I try to put glare and gaze in the same word. That's a glaze. He's glazed over. Subtle. You know, there weren't too many movies. I mean, like a lot of the kids' movies would put kids in a situation where, you know, there's a baddie after them, but you never truly got a sense of danger. I think that's what set this one apart. I mean, I really sensed that these kids were fucking doomed. If they didn't get off the pot after taking their shit, they were done. Remember when that was the big grown-ups versus the kids? But you're an adult. Which is weird because ours was always in the spring. Uh-oh. Pretty typical stuff. There's a movie called Needful Things. I mentioned it in the beginning. That this movie was kind of like a Needful Things kind of thing. Even though this came out before Needful Things. You know, the Friday the 13th TV series was basically this idea. Wishes granted, you know. at a cost. Creepy. What a great shot. So, like, we have this fucking library. What can we do with it? First above, now eye level. I think Robards did a really good job playing sick and weak here, too. Like, I believe he's having trouble breathing. There was a man from Nantucket who had an ear so long he could fuck it. He said with a grin, scratching his chin, if it was a cunt, I'd fuck it. Something like that. No, it was his penis that was long, and he could suck it. Okay, never mind. I fucked that limerick up. But going back to the whole, feeling like these kids were actually in jeopardy. No whore mom. I can't say that. She was just looking for company. She obviously is not over the fact that her husband up and ditched him. Is that word again? Okay, Danny. I know who you are. When did Jason Robards pass? I'm looking that up. In 2000. Wow, he's been gone a lot longer than I thought. Oh, no, that was his spouse. Died December of 2000. Okay. The day after Christmas, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Interesting. It's delicious. Okay. Creepy. This is awesome. Old. And they don't just cut from it. It's not chop, chop, chop. My 30s were awesome. It's gone. God, that must have been so fun. Not just ripping the book, but... 4G. I love how he goes into that. 40 years old is elderly. Look how frustrating he's getting. This guy's amazing. He says this twice, and it always bothered me. This is wild. Ugh, that always, yeah. Nightshade and Doc. That's your name, buddy. I don't know why, but that always had kind of a sexual vibe to it, too. That. The sound she made. Great shot. I don't know. While he was being loud with my dad, I'd fucking. I mean, I know I would want to fight with my dad, but he's stalling so you can get the fuck away. I wouldn't have been there. I'd have been off like a prom dress. Like they would really do that, right? I mean, I get it. I get it. This is cool. Such a simple. And we go from elegant to clumsy, real quick. Blah! Come here, motherfucker. I always loved how his arm just flails like that. It's like, why? Stepmom fantasy. That's how they begin. This chick here, have you ever seen the remake to House on Haunted Hill? The actual ghost at the end? I always felt like her image here would be perfect for that. Instead of whatever that CGI mess was. See, we didn't need to say that twice. It would have been fine there after he hurt his hand and didn't say anything. He would have said some shit like, "Yeah, so you still can't save your boy," or I don't know. I love the movie, but I'm okay with pointing out his bullshit. Man. It's fucking creepy. Huh. Nightshade and Doc. Turn him into a little baby. Oh, I never realized that. That little dude's, he wants the baby. Give me the baby. Nice. You would never see shots like this in a movie today. They would just show up, with a dun 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 moment. He just like, he ain't playing around. Just threw the fucking thing. I always expected mirror mazes to be like this too when I was a kid. We had one at Canby Lake Park, but it was nothing like this. In fact, you could kind of see through it. It was like the glass was kind of mirror, but also kind of see through. It wasn't like a double mirror. Well, I guess it was, but they weren't true mirrors like this is portraying. That would have fucking drove me nuts. No, he told just to give me a taste. Probably not. The subtle echo. Yeah. The war. Mm-hmm. I think it was James Hetfield that said regret's a screwed up word. I remember reading that in a magazine years and years ago. Never understood what he meant by it. I mean, he was in his 20s when he said it, so maybe he didn't even fucking understand what he was saying. But regardless, sorry, I'm trying to find something here to fidget with. The sights and sounds of hell. There we go. It's crazy. Yeah, he's certainly older in this too. Right here. Cliched. Love saves the day. I'd rather it be machine guns and swords or something, you know? But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, how are you really supposed to defeat the devil? Yeah! Go get him! Go get some! Zap! Mm. So, and this was my question. They, you know, dust to dust, from the grave to the grave, or whatever. Isn't this supposed to happen? And then they'll be back in however many years again? What was it, 30 something years? There we go. There you go, Jason. This is absolutely brilliant. That little. I don't know. It seems to be working so far. It's just so mental. But that's not happy. Yay, celebrate. That might be a good idea. That's awesome. Computers can't make that. God damn. I always want to know where all these people came from. I like the souls that we didn't get to know yet. Look at that. Oh my god, that looks so good. And the little dude just grabs him. Come on, Poppy, let's go. It's kind of like a Luke and Vader moment, or I should say Anakin, because he saved him. Man, whoever worked on this did such a great job. It's sad that the movie doesn't get the love that it deserves. I get it. I do. I honestly believe if you just walked into this movie today, you're probably not going to get much out of it. I think a lot of this movie is the creepy factor of this ending, or I should say the pursuit of the boys, and nostalgia. And this is another thing movies from the 80s did very well. Created this chaotic ending and then calmed it down afterwards. So you'd get that sense of how beautiful. That's what's up right there. Again, music perfect. You know what? They probably should have tried to de-age him slightly with makeup. Make it so he did get a little bit younger after, gaining his confidence and his. Because it was really more of a character study on him than anything, really. Yeah, fuck it, right? What are you going to do? And there's a dog. Everything, man. I will say some of the narration's a little goofy, but. And there you have it. Again, I didn't have a lot of history to tell you about the movie or anything like that, but I had fun watching it with you. So I hope you enjoyed this movie. I loved it growing up. I will admit, it didn't. That was Pam Grier? That was Pam Grier. Oh my god. Okay, I didn't realize that. I want to see who did the effects stuff. I don't recognize any of those names. Any creature effects? No, I guess not. Supervising sound effects, effect animation, supervisor animation. Here we go. Nope, I guess not. But either way, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I will admit, it didn't age the greatest. But when a movie gets creepy, it gets creepy. And you can't deny that shit. So, guys, thank you for hanging out with me and watching this. If you made it through the whole thing, guys. And, I don't know, suggest the next movie if you want. Maybe we'll try to get one more in for, Creep-Tober. I definitely have one for December already. And it's a spooky movie. Well, it's a slasher. There's a specific date in December that we're going to do part 3 of something. And I'm pretty sure you already know what it is. But, all right, even the credits are over, guys. Thank you always so much for watching. Don't forget, the Alzheimer's Walk is coming up in a couple of weeks. We just surpassed $1,000. Let's keep the momentum going. Let's see if we can't get my goal, $2,500. And if we can't, that's all right. That's all right. You guys have already done such an amazing job helping me out. And I can't extend my gratitude enough. So wherever in the world you folks are, I hope you're doing well. Until next time, take care, creep it real, and bye-bye. Now I gotta go pee. I gotta piss so bad.